If you need level 40, unlimited, limited, clutch time, domination, triple threat, or anything else on your 2K account, grinded, contact Rose NBA on Twitter and let them know X sent you. Best small forwards tier list. Let's get into it. So we got everybody right here just looking absolutely amazing. All of our typical tiers. I also have this on the wrong monitor, so just kind of bear with me, like, comment, all that wonderful stuff. We'll get through it. We're doing a quick format again, and remember, these are primary position lists. If somebody is a primary power forward but you play him with the small forward, I'm sorry, these are primary position lists. It seriously just makes it so much easier to kind of get through it. So we got the hard pass here starting off first with Purpose Short, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, Brandon Ingram, Tony Allen, Rudy Tomjanovich, Bobby Jones, and Reggie Lewis. You can kind of assume why a lot of these guys are here, and I actually almost put Reggie Lewis up in the still decent tier, but some people are saying I need to be a little more strict with my list. So we're doing that. We're being a little bit tougher on some of these guys, but nothing too bad. And I will say for Kawhi, Tatum, and Brandon Ingram, for gold cards, they are actually really good. Especially Kawhi comes with gold or bronze clamps, which is pretty good for a gold card. And Tatum's actually pretty solid as well, just because he has a pretty tough to guard jumper. So not bad. Still decent. We got Paul Pierce, Fred Jones, Chuck Pearson, Xavier McDaniel, Grant Hill, Steven Jackson, and Danny Granger. So with Paul Pierce, I know it's a card that some people actually quite like, but I'm really not a fan of this Paul Pierce card. His jumper just takes way too much time to get that thing off. He does a good dribble style, and the MJ dribble style and everything else is pretty decent on the card, but he's meant to be a shooter, and I just don't think he has a reliable jumper, so I'm putting him as still decent. Fred Jones, that default swing jumper, I think is what he has. Whatever he has, I just don't like it on a guard. I think it's the same jumper that Joakim Noah has. I don't mind it on a catch and shoot guard, but on Fred Jones, I just wasn't a fan, and I also just didn't feel like he slashed as good as he should have. So that's that. Chuck Pearson, he's okay for a diamond, but he's nothing crazy, but he's definitely not hard pass there. Xavier McDaniel just can't shoot. His defense and finishing are pretty decent, but just nothing crazy. Grant Hill is just cursed with all bronze badges, so I just couldn't really love that. And Steven Jackson, for a Ruby card that we got in like an eerie set, is actually, honestly, I don't think he's really all that bad. I think some people kind of just ignore a lot of these rubies just because they're rubies, but he does have the Goran Dragic jumper, which I really like. The Trae Young dribble style, some pretty good dribbling animations. Doesn't really have the greatest of defense or finishing, but his shooting and playmaking are pretty solid, and he does have a duo with Sean Elliott, which makes him a bit better in both of those. So definitely pretty decent, and I'm kind of liking him. And then we got Danny Granger, who I think is solid, but for an amethyst that you're locking in cards to get, especially with the price of some of these, I just really don't think is all that worth it. Then we got the pretty damn solid tier, which has Luka, John Havlicek, Jimmy Butler, Bruce Bowen, George Gervin, Elgin Baylor, Dominique Wilkins, Ousmane Deng, and Jalen Williams. So Luka, the first card, should be good, but I just don't feel like he's all that bursty. I don't feel like he's all that good. His jumper takes a little bit of time to get into, and honestly, I've used this Luka, and with a lack of defense that you also put into that, honestly, I don't love it. I do think as we get later in the year, Luka can be pretty good because his jumper actually does get pretty quick once it's on that like quick and very quick timings, but on normal it just takes a little while to get into, so I'm just not a fan. John Havlicek, maybe one of the worst pink diamonds we've ever got from a domination reward. He's all around solid. He's just nothing crazy. Jimmy Butler, pretty good, but if I'm being honest, I do think that he is like a tier below his Ruby, even if you go with the shooting evo, which is a little bit tough, but nothing crazy. Bruce Bowen, crazy good card, just can't finish and he can't play it. He can't really move. As soon as the ball's in his hands, it's kind of tough, but he does have a pretty nice catch and shoot jumper, the same that it's been for forever. It's just like the old jump shot 40. Nothing crazy, nothing bad. His defense is pretty good, but if I'm being honest, a lot of these defensive specialist cards aren't exactly the most insane, because as soon as somebody has like gold or Hall of Fame Clamp Breaker, it doesn't matter because Clamps just basically is useless. George Gervin, pretty solid, but I just don't like his layup style. I just don't think it's that good. Hasn't been good for a while, but he's all around pretty decent. Elgin Baylor, pretty good. Brook Lopez jumper, I think. Still, maybe. It might be Porzingis. Not 100% sure, but either way, it's a little bit slow for a guy that's playing our small forward position, and he's a little bit undersized, but his stats and badges are pretty solid. Dominique Wilkins has the basic dribble style and motion style, so he just moves like an absolute snail, and it just isn't as good as he should be, which is pretty underwhelming because Dominique could be a demon because everything else on him is super solid. Dang, I was looking at it, and I really like this card. First game I used him, I got a 40-point triple-double with him and was going absolutely crazy. Granted, the competition was the most insane, but for a 6'10 power forward, he's definitely crazy. He's just really only a playmaker and a defender, but he does have some decent finishing. His shooting and getting that jumper off definitely takes a while, so you gotta be careful. I do think he's a good card, but I couldn't put him up into the baby demons here quite yet. And then Jalen Williams, all around pretty solid. Definitely lacks a bit in the defensive aspect, but everything else is pretty solid on the card. Then for the Baby Demon, we are started off with Peja Stojakovic, Franz Wagner, Chris Mullin, Michael Finley, Alex English, RJ Barrett, Joe Ingles, Vince Carter, and Richard Jefferson. Some crazy good cards. First with Peja, a lot better than I thought he would be. Obviously, Page is normally like that, just absolute sniper that you get on your card just to shoot, and he's exactly that right now. 6'9", which is pretty great. Wagner, actually crazy. His jumper does take a little bit to get into, but I didn't expect them to give him such good defense. So he's a great finisher. He's an all-around pretty solid shooter, and his defense is actually super solid. So for a budget amethyst, I'm a big fan of this guy. Super nice. Chris Mullin, just a great all-around shooter, could even play make a little bit, feels super smooth on the court, just a good all-around guy. Michael Finley is just kind of good across the board at everything. I don't think he's like out of this world, but he is a super solid card. Alex English is literally so good at everything but his shooting. As a 63, you can still hit it, but I do think that it takes away from him a little bit. I have seen people actually be pretty consistent with Alex English. I just think that he's not quite on the Demons tier because of it. RJ Barrett, absolutely insane card, and I do really, really love this RJ Barrett card, but if I'm being honest, he's not exactly top tier, but I absolutely love him. He's got good defense, good playmaking, he's a solid shooter, he's a solid finisher. He's really, really good all around, in my opinion. Then we got Joe Ingles, and Joe Ingles, oh my god, I've evoed up this card myself. I have the diamond. He is super fun to use, and I think a lot of people who haven't used him, honestly, are just missing out. Joe Ingles, 748, and once they get the diamond, are crazy. Ingles gets Hall of Fame's fast twitch, fearless finisher, and off-ball pass. He keeps his good defense. He then gets an 88 speed acceleration and 85 speed ball, which is just crazy. Now an 85 driving dunk. Only problem is he still has the normal dribble style, which is really not great, and he has the Joe Ingles jumper, which also is not great. If his Ingles jumper was on quick and he had like the Michael Jordan dribble style, he would be a top like 3 small forward in the game right now. So I kind of understand why they nerfed him a little bit, but he's still really damn good as an off-ball player right now. Vince Carter, pretty solid card. Obviously, he's got a decent enough jumper, is a little bit slow. His defense is decent. His playmaking, decent. His finishing is really kind of where you get him being absolutely crazy. So all around, not bad. And then we also got Richard Jefferson, who I just don't like his jumper. It takes a little bit to get into. His defense, playmaking, finishing are all pretty good, but the shooting kind of just gets completely taken away. I think you can very, very easily bait this card. I've gone against him a few times, and every time I've gone against him, he really hasn't done much, if anything. And then last but not least, we got the Demons tier, which has Scottie Pippen, Chris Middleton, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Gordon Dragic, Hayward, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony Edwards, and Andrew Wiggins. So first off with Scottie Pippen, this guy's crazy. I actually have Scottie Pippen on my team now, and my god, is he good. The jumper is smooth, the defense is crazy, Hall of Fame, glove, clamps, all that sort of stuff. His finishing is good, he can play make too. Honestly, top 3 small forward. Chris Middleton, great 3-and-D guy, has Hall of Fame clamps, and I think Hall of Fame catch and shoot as well. He can also play make and finish a little bit. Great secondary ball handler, can play the shooting guard as well. He's just a great card. Kawhi, literally one of the best defenders in the entire game, arguably top 5. Has a great jumper as well. Not really going to be the best off-ball guy, but who really cares? If you got a 3-and-D guy, can do what he can. Then next, we got Galaxy Opal Jimmy Butler, a card that is just crazy. 6'7", 6'8" wingspan, has Hall of Fame bully, fearless, acrobat, needle threader, floor general, challenger, clamps, glove, interceptor, menace, pick dodge. I mean, it goes on. Now, the one thing that does hurt Jimmy is, although he's literally cracked at everything, he only has the normal dribble style, not MJ or anything like that. So he's not the greatest of, like, having the ball in his hands kind of guy, even as a shooting guard. So that is a little bit tough, but he literally does everything else so well, I don't think it matters. Pick down Jason Tatum has one of the most unguardable jumpers in the game. If you just let the AI guard him, he can stand still and take whatever shot he wants, and that definitely makes it a bit frustrating, but he's a really good defender. His finishing is great, and his playmaking is actually super solid. Reminds me of the Opal Tatum that we used to have. Guy can't really move too much when it's in his hands, but if you know some super simple and effective ways to get open, he is crazy good. Gordon Hayward, literally my favorite card still in my team. I have Scottie Pippen, but for some reason, I just love using this Gordon Hayward just a little bit more. I literally don't know what it is, because Scottie's low-key a better playmaker, moves a little bit smoother, and obviously has slightly better defense than this Gordon Hayward, but it might just be the jumper. It's super clean, it's super consistent, it is so easy to time, and I just absolutely love this Gordon Hayward card. Comes with insane defense, great playmaking, great shooting, great finishing, everything like that. He is just one of my favorite cards in the entire game. Then we got my wonderful man, Carmelo Anthony. He doesn't really have the defense, but he literally has like the fastest jumper in the game right now. So you can kind of just catch and shoot whenever the hell you want. AIs just literally don't guard him. Anthony Edwards, crazy good slasher, was a lot better than I thought he would be. And the fact that he can play the 2, I think makes up for the fact that he's 6'5". And honestly be fine. He's one of the best slashers in the game, which is kind of the meta right now. Just rim run. He can shoot it. He can play some defense, and he is just great. Then Andrew Wiggins, it's just that jack of all trades. Perfect card to have in your lineup. He plays defense. He's got a decent enough jumper. His slashing is absolutely absolutely crazy, and his secondary ball handling and playmaking is super, super nice. One of the best small forwards in the entire game right now, and it was essentially free to take over card, which is pretty cool. So that's my personal small forwards list. Let me know what yours would be down in the comment section below, as let me know as your favorite small forward as well. And remember that these are not just anybody who can run the small forward. These are primary position lists, so keep that in mind. Either way, like, comment, subscribe, all the wonderful stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video.